Good morning. So here I am again in the beautiful outdoors. Hey, do you love these fall colors? It's gorgeous. This is where God inspires me to challenge you and encourage you. And today what I want to chat with you a little bit about, actually before I do that, some of you may be looking at this and going, oh, thank goodness that awful looking facial patch is gone. Well, I had enough gray hair in there and probably chunks of food that were being caught that I thought it was probably good for me to shave it off. And the bonus is now my wife kisses me again too. But today I want to talk with you about risk. And there's one thing that all of us despise is losing. We always would rather be on the winning end of something. And something that I've learned being in the money industry is we always have to take risk. But there's one risk that I've seen a lot of people take that is probably the greatest risk of all, and that's what I want to talk with you about today. Something that I despise is losing money. I've broken Warren Buffett's number 1 and 2 rules of investing: never lose money, more than once. But what I hate more than that is seeing my friends and clients and family lose money on things that I've introduced them to. So today I want to take you somewhere, and I want to show you some risk taking, and then I want to sit with you in my office and talk with you about a list from least to greatest. And the last risk I want to share with you is going to surprise you. So sit back and hope you enjoy this week's blog.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the little clip there of the skateboarders. I've tried that once or twice, and I tell you, that is risk. I scared for my life going down a ramp like that, so I just watched in awe. But I wanted to give you guys a really good picture of just different aspects of risk. Obviously today, sitting in my office here, we're not going to be talking at all about physical risk. Mostly we're going to be talking about kind of survival, financial, everything in that realm there. So I'm going to go through and list with the top 6 risks that people take, and we're going to start with the ones that are kind of least risky and kind of most, maybe some would say it's just a no-brainer. So the first one is survival is food and water. You know what? Some people think that to start storing up food and water means that you're a doomsdayer, and I think, why? It's just a good idea. If the grocery stores ran out of food, which, you know what? Yeah, I haven't experienced that. But is it a bad thing to have extra food? So I'll tell you a couple quick things that I've done. I've got dehydrated food. I've got this aquaponics growth that I'm just starting, and we'll probably do a video blog on that at some point. I've got lots of bottled water. And just things that if something did happen, that it's good for my family. And lots of canned food and lots of frozen meat. That especially heading into winter here can be used, can be, even if the electricity was cut off, can be just stored in the garage in a deep freeze without being plugged in. So having a generator, those are all things where maybe we'll never need to have that storage, but is there really risk involved in it? No. So that's number 6. Number 5, in my business I spent 8 years as an insurance rep for a small little brokerage here. And I spent time educating people on, their greatest asset is their ability to work. And sometimes things happen in our lives that prevent us from working. And the worst case scenario is death. Well, if you have an estate at all, an estate means any assets and liabilities, and you've got loved ones who you're going to leave that estate with, well, then you need insurance. And the reason why I call this number 5 is because when we look at risk and reward, the risk, depending on your age and health and all those sorts of things, your lifestyle will determine the amount of insurance that you need to pay. But I've sat with lots of families where $50, $75, maybe $100 a month, they can take care of kind of the basics of their insurance needs. I'll tell you about a family just in the last few months. I've known them well, and unfortunately, when I got to know them, I wasn't in the insurance business anymore. We talked about other types of financial business, but the gentleman, I was trying to get a hold of him one day, and did not answer his phone. And I was thinking, man, that's a little odd because we had some projects we were working on, and his wife called me later that day and said, you know what, he passed away. Didn't wake up this morning. And a young guy, young children, young wife, who I tell you, you know what? I found out they did not have insurance. You do not want to be in that kind of situation. You don't want to leave anybody that you love in that situation. So number 5 is take care and make sure that your most valuable asset, your ability to work, is covered. And talk to me. I can send you in the right direction with all that sort of thing, whether it's life insurance, protecting your health. Maybe you don't die. I mean, that's the worst case scenario. Maybe you just get sick or injured. I've had lots of clients get injured. Lots of tradespeople, actually, who I've used to work with, and they got injured. And you know what? I had set them up with a plan where they were paid while they were off, even if they were just off for a month or two. So that's number 5. Number 4 is tax planning, but I want to call it tax avoidance. Some of you watching this may go, tax avoidance? Doug, you're sounding a little bit kind of sketchy here. Well, tax avoidance is completely legal. And the reason why this is not very high risk is there's lots of ways for us to pay less in tax. In fact, if you listen to even people who run for office, they say, yeah, I'm going to pay as little tax as I can. I'm going to think of every loophole possible. Well, I've sat with many people and shown them very, very obvious ways of deducting more, and I'll give you one example here, and this is probably the best example that I could ever give. If you are an employee, you are in a higher tax bracket than me, than a lot of my self-employed friends. As soon as you have your own business, suddenly there's a lot of things you can deduct. In this office right here that I sit in, used to be a bedroom, my son, and this office is a tax deduction. Everything that I do, I live my life as a business. That is a tax deduction. There's a lot of things, and it's really, really important. Some people think it's a little risky, but for an employee, you should have a side business. And the easiest way to have that is through network marketing. I love the network marketing industry, and that's a great way to for people to save thousands of dollars of income tax off what they pay at their job just by having a business, even if you're not making any money yet. So that's number 4, and that's a absolutely awesome one. Number 3. Sometimes when people hear about precious metals, gold and silver, they think of it as an investment. What I've tried to educate my clients in is that gold and silver is not an investment. Think of it as an insurance policy, because this is money. And I've gone through this in past videos. Gold and silver is money. So when your paper money is becoming less and less valuable, and when there's things happening in the economy, crises happening, people flock to gold and silver. And there's a lot of upside in gold and silver right now because of what's happening in the economy. So you going and buying some gold and silver, think of it as an insurance policy. There's very low risk, as long as you don't think of it as I got to cash it in next month. You are going to be fine. Another thing in the precious aspect would be colored diamonds. The reason why colored diamonds have low risk is because there's no downside. Like, they do not go down in value. Can you believe that? There's no recorded history of colored diamonds, natural fancy colored, investment grade colored diamonds, going down in value. They just go up. So is there risk? Well, the risk is the liquidity. So that's where we're getting into a little more risk here, is you might have something that you can't turn into cash, you can't turn into food. So this is where we're getting into a little more risky territory, but still not very risky. The second one, so number 2 on your list of risk, is investing. Anytime that you invest, you have to think, okay, what is the calculated risk? What is the worst case scenario? If I lose everything I put in, am I going to be okay? That's really important that you ask that with every investment that you make. Maybe it's real estate. Maybe it's something in the stock market. Maybe it's a business. You have to weigh the risk and the reward. Right now, for example, I'm working on a cryptocurrency project, and the risk is very low, and I've never seen something where the reward is so high. So again, there is risk, but the reward is through the roof. So weigh it, balance it, and see what you can stomach, and make sure you can sleep at night with any investing that you're doing. Are you ready for the number 1? Because the number 1 is the one that drives me the most crazy, but it's the one that most people do most of the time, and that's nothing. With everything that I just listed, a lot of people become very indecisive. They become, sometimes I call it paralysis or analysis paralysis. Sometimes people get so involved in just looking at every minute detail, they just do nothing. And doing nothing is the worst risk that you can take, because doing nothing, I can guarantee you, you're going to get the same results maybe that you've already been getting for the last 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Doing nothing means that, you know what, maybe doing nothing is you just keep on putting money away in your savings account. Well, I can guarantee you one thing, savers are losers. Google that, savers are losers, and you'll probably read some stuff by Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Saving money, guaranteed the money that you're gonna make where it's being saved is not gonna catch up with inflation. So doing the same thing, doing nothing, is not gonna help you achieve your goals. So look at these risks right here, analyze them, look at them, see what you're willing to stomach. Start with number 6, start with them, go to number 5, go to number 4. Start addressing some of those things. Maybe you've met with advisors in the past who've given you some pointers there. Get second opinions. Everything that I've mentioned today are things that I'm personally doing and I can help you out with. So watch some of my other videos and they'll give you direction and help you understand just some steps you can take and some risk. And make sure you're having fun. Don't get stressed about it. But it's important that you start dealing with stuff. Don't just sit on the sidelines, because sitting on the sidelines means you're not in the game, and that means you're not going to win. All right? That is my blog for the week. Take care. Have an awesome day.
Head out on the highway, looking for